I think I'm just starting to see the reality that, like, the people on the right don't actually care about me.
Now, I know what all of us are thinking. What? You don't say. What? But, like, as somebody who is a former conservative, believe me, it comes as a shock to find out that, like, prominent people on the conservative side don't actually give a shit about you. All right, so there's this girl named Kelly Cadigan. Kelly Cadigan is a trans woman. We talked about her a couple of weeks ago. We uploaded a video for it, and we called her Blair White 2 Electric Boogaloo. I actually titled the video Blair White 2 The Griftening, which I think is pretty funny. I digress about that. Kelly Cadigan seems to have had a change of heart, which is surprising. It's not something that we get to see in real time, and I want to go over it. I've already looked at a lot of her stuff, so I know all of this, everything that she's going to say going in. And I just want to say, it seems really genuine. Like, I know this was a very fast turnaround, but if you just, like, hear it out, it's one of the most genuine, like, retractions that I've ever heard. To be clear, Kelly does not seem like she's in her right state of mind, like, all the time. Like, she seems very anxious, but hopefully she's getting the help that she needs. And we'll just take a look at what she has to say. We'll just go right into it. All right. This is the first one. At least the first one I know of.
You know, growing up, I always wanted to be friends with the people who hated me, just because I wanted to be seen as normal so bad. And I almost feel like I kind of never grew up. And even in my 23-year-old self, I still feel like I'm that 15-year-old that's constantly looking for validation through not just cis, biological people, whatever you want to call it, but just through Republicans in general. And I don't know why. I think it's through me just needing to feel.
It is a pretty normal it's a pretty normal feeling to have, to make people who don't like you, like, want to like you. You know, especially when you're 15 and young. Think about, like, the cool kid in school, right? The one who, like, hates your guts. You know, like the stereotypical one. Maybe you didn't have one, but a lot of people did. Like the cool kids, you know, you know what they are. And despite them, like, not being interested in anything you're interested in, not liking anything that you like, not wanting to do anything that you do, or having anything to do with you, you want them to like you for some reason. You can't get over it. Like, you see this person that has made it clear that they don't like you and don't want to be around you, and you want them to like you so badly. Like, there's this gut feeling of, like, oh, if I could just get through to this person, that, like, I'm good inside, that I am normal and I'm cool to be around, right? My friends were the cool kids. Well, there you go. Not surprising from the based Queen Laura oneself. Oh my lord, this whole thing is why I was an anti-SJW when I was 15. Yeah, I don't recall a lot of from when I was 15. I mostly just played Call of Duty and got in trouble, but like, I probably was more anti-SJW than not, for sure. I mean, I watched, like, the screeching lib cringe compilations and whatever else. Anyway, we'll keep going.
Feel accepted, wanting to feel like I'm cared about by people who don't want to care about me. I don't know why I've always needed that. And I think I'm coming out of it because I've just kind of been thinking a lot about the people I talk to on Twitter and the things they say to me, like calling me a trans identifying male or a man. And I don't know why I want these people to accept me. I don't know why I care about what they think. And I think I'm starting to care less. And it's funny, when I was a kid and this happened, my friends that were my friends, they didn't want to be friends with me anymore when I started treating them like crap to try to be friends. Sorry, my phone died. But my old friends, they didn't want to be friends with me once they found out I was ditching them to try to get in with the cool crowd.
Her phone was like, "You did what? You did what, bitch? Ah, hell nah," and just turned off. Anyway.
And it feels like if the same thing's happening again.
Betrayal.
I ditched the left to talk about how I felt on the right, and I think I'm just starting to see the reality that, like, the people on the right don't actually care about me. And
Now, I know what all of us are thinking. What? You don't say. What? But, like, as somebody who is a former conservative, believe me, it comes as a shock to find out that, like, prominent people on the conservative side don't actually give a shit about you. Like, it can be a surprise, you know? Like, oh, this person has preached all of this stuff, and maybe that I identified with, you know, or that I agreed with, and turns out they were lying, and they don't care. I think she just needs to get a few trans friends. That will help, but I do also think there are some underlying problems. She doesn't go into it, and I can't make assumptions, but the way she's coming off is very genuine, but I can also see somebody who's very hurt inside. Like, make no mistake, as a former conservative, let me tell you something. Change is hard, okay? Introspection is hard. It's so hard. People don't quite grasp, especially lately on the left, I've noticed. A lot of leftists just weren't born into a conservative family, and they've just always kind of held the same beliefs that they held since birth, right? Their parents taught them to be a leftist or a liberal or whatever. And if it was liberal, yeah, you might have changed some of your beliefs, but ultimately you were always progressive, at least socially, right? So a lot of there's a common problem on the left that people don't understand what it takes to change internally, you know, and I do. That's one thing that I have that a lot of leftists don't. I do know what that takes. Okay, I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to say that makes me better than anyone else, but I am saying it gives me a unique perspective, and I think that's valuable. I do think that's valuable. I think I have a good, unique perspective that a lot of content creators on the left simply don't have. Kind of like Hunter Avalon, right? Not that I agree with everything that guy says. Don't cancel me, etc. But you know, he is a good example. Yes, it is hard. Those in chat who know, right? I don't think I'm special, but I do want you guys to understand that if you see somebody who like this, like Kelly, who is genuinely trying to change and she's demonstrating that, be open, right? Be open-minded. I see a lot of people pulling up like her racist past. Understandable, right? Completely understandable. And she probably has some stuff to answer for in that field. I don't know. I haven't seen it. She probably does. And she has a lot of stuff to answer for within her own, you know, minority field, which is being trans. She has a lot to answer for. But this is a great start. And I would rather accept her than risk her just being, you know, just falling back into the abyss that is the conservative grift tank, you know? I don't want her in there. The more people we can pull out of there, the better. I still remember being in this weird phase of where I wasn't transphobic unless I was in a bad mood. I even noticed how I already knew being a transphobe was wrong. That's interesting. For me, it was just I was a transphobe. Like, I can tell you where it came from. I would look at porn, and sometimes a dick would come up, and I didn't like that. And they would call this person with a dick a woman, and I didn't like that either. So I decided, you know what? I don't like this so much that now actually I hate trans people. And trans women aren't actually women. I didn't understand the concept of a trans man back then because I didn't look up male porn, but that's where that came from. I'm not kidding you. That is where that came from. And I thankfully changed, you know, I thankfully introspected and decided, well, that's kind of silly. And then I changed. And now I'm into a lot of trans people. I think that, you know, she's a very attractive woman, you know? So I think Keffels is very attractive. You know, there are a lot of attractive trans people. And even if you're not attractive, it doesn't fucking matter. Just it's a, you know, it's not relevant. But my point stands. Anyway.
And the people that did care about me and did want to support me, they don't want to take me back. And I can't even blame you guys.
I don't want to pause too much because we have more to watch, but I do also want to point out that is the trap that conservatives and the alt-right will trap you in, right? Will keep you in. They tell you that their bubble's safe, right? All of your beliefs are safe in here. As you know, you can think what you want, do what you want. You just have to comply with certain demands, right? And as long as you do that, you're welcome here. But, big but, you ever go outside of the bubble? You ever tread a little too far? It's not going to be good for you. You see these leftists, these dirty leftists, these one thought hive mind leftists. They don't like outsiders. They don't like people who think the way you do or have thought the way that you do. Even if it was 10 years ago, they don't like you. They don't like you. And they'll never accept you, no matter what. The Joker, yes. And they'll convince you of that. And there's some truth to that. As we've seen, there are plenty of dipshits who fall right into that, what is it called? The stereotype that they just will never accept anybody who was ever a conservative. We've seen that a lot lately on Twitter, at least. And it sucks. I literally just I got done having a conversation with somebody yesterday who basically said if you're racist at 16, or like you think slavery is okay when you're 16, was the specific part. I don't want to undersell it. The conversation was about a 16-year-old who thinks that slavery is good. Okay, so it's not a good thing to think. It's bad. It's really bad. But he said that we should jail this person until they're 60. What? No, that's insane. I was racist when I was 16. Okay, if I was in jail right now, I wouldn't be a nurse. Who the fuck would think that? That's insane. And they're just anti-rehabilitation, and they're open about it, and it sucks. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get back to
guys because of all the awful things I said. I said so many awful things. All because I just wanted to be accepted. It felt good. It felt really good, like being seen by a lot of like right-wing creators I used to watch, and I felt like I was one of them. I felt like I was going to be like Candace Owens and you know, get my own show on the Daily Wire and be a pick-me and own that title. And it's just all like, for what? Even if I did like get major success, it would all just be so fake and full of hate. And I just don't know how I got here.
That's just so real. That's visceral to me. That's very real. You know, you got the stars in your eyes, right? You're gonna be that trans woman. You're gonna be the one, the good one, right? You're gonna be the one making the headline, just like Candace Owens before you, just like the Clandis herself. But you know, it's lonely at the top sometimes, especially when you step on everybody else to get up there. I don't know if I was necessarily racist, but if someone pointed it out, I wouldn't deny if I was. But I definitely was, quote unquote, colorblind when it came to that. Yeah, that's like racism light, right? Where you say like, I'm colorblind. I don't believe in seeing colors in people. That's just cope. If you say that I'm colorblind, I don't see what you mean is, there might be liberals who say it, but usually what you mean is you're racist, and like maybe not in your personal life, but you support racism because you do. You know, you just like you see like maybe you're not like saying the N-word at the neighbor who's black, right? But you are like voting in politicians who explicitly wants to cut welfare to like black people, which they don't say black people, but the welfare queens, right? We all know the image that comes to mind. Gotta get rid of them damn welfare queens. Let me tell you something. This black woman who lives next to me, she's the one who's draining all our money. It's her. You know, the Irish were persecuted too. Oh yeah. You know, the Irish. Let me tell you something, brother. You know, the Irish were persecuted too, you know. Look at them now. Now they're one of us. I mean, now they're not persecuted no more. Sorry, slipped my tongue there. Sorry about that. Anyway, maybe I supported racism by proxy. Yeah. So like most of the time it's just that. Let's move on to the next video. So she had a couple of other things that she came out with. I don't want to look at all of them because there's a lot. You should go to her page and you should follow her. I would recommend following her and just seeing where it goes. You know, this all seems very genuine to me. She's been talking about how sexual reassignment surgery improved her life. She talks about how her take on puberty blockers has changed because she herself took them when she was younger and they saved her life. And she admits they saved her life. She also says they made her infertile. And I think that's because she was on them too long, maybe, because she said she was on them like 6 or 7 years. I don't know what doctor approved that. That's a really long time. But point being, she does not regret it. And she would do it again. So she's very big for admitting that. Here's another video she just released that I don't think I've seen yet. So this is going to be a fresh reaction.
You know, you don't have to accept me back. You can think I'm manipulative, but I'm going to tell you guys some things I learned while being on the right, just so everyone can learn from my mistakes.
Okay, we're learning.
The right doesn't ever believe that I can be a woman of any kind, not even just a woman that isn't a biological woman. No, they want you to be called a male.
Yep. Specifically
a trans-identified male. The right.
That's if you're lucky, by the way. The nice ones call you a trans-identified male.
Does not believe that if you as a trans person adopt a child one day, if you're a trans man, you can't celebrate Father's Day. If you're a trans woman, you can't celebrate Mother's Day. Yep. They told me that I am not allowed to celebrate Mother's Day, that in and of itself would be offensive to women. They told me that even as a post-op trans woman, not that it should matter either way, I should be forced to use the men's bathroom.
Imagine that. Look at her. Like what the fuck? She passes better than like 90% of cis women I've met. Like, holy shit. Are you kidding me?
There's no middle ground with the people on the right. They genuinely just want you to say you're a male that's feminine. And that takes female hormones. That's what they want you to say. And they're so dense that they can't see the bigger picture of what a trans identity actually is. Like, most of us are aware of what we are biologically, but it's deeper than that. And that's what they don't get. I was at a point where I would watch so many stitches of my videos and I would want to react with anger. But I'm not going to react with anger because I've done too much damage to the community to be upset about that. People have a right to be upset with me. People have a right to not ever want to accept me back into the community. I understand that. I've done and said some horrible things. I don't want to come on here and cry. Like, I want to be just real. I'm sorry to Dylan Mulvaney for taking your days of girlhood shtick and using it for my own conservative grift. I'm sorry to the Black community for what I said about slavery. I shouldn't have said that.
Wow. Oh, wow. She did apologize. Okay.
And to non-binary people,
I don't know
I'm
what the
sorry
take was.
I said your identities aren't valid, but I'm also not going to sit here and say I understand. I need to talk to more non-binary people.
Yeah, and I actually am trying to get her on the stream to talk to her about that. I would love for her and Katie to have a conversation.
To have a better understanding of your identity and what it means, because I truly still don't understand. But I'm willing to hear you guys out and have a conversation about it now.
Beautiful. Yeah, she's hard to get a hold of. I did comment. I don't know if it was this video. It was a different post. I commented on it to see if I can try to get her on the stream. I've been a busy bee lately trying to get people to come on. We're trying to grow the brand, right? Anyway, so with Kelly, like we said at the beginning, she was Blair White Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. And now she's not. Now she's very clearly changing. Like, somebody who is still grifting for the right is not going to admit any of this. And I guarantee you that the right is trying to drop her like a fucking hot potato right now. She is causing so much havoc in the right. Imagine, like, it's like if your appendix were to suddenly burst, right? Like, you don't want anything to do with it anymore. You're not trying to fix it. You want to get out of me. No, you're done. Like, that's what the conservatives are probably trying to do with her right now. Like, they're trying to shoo her under the rug. They don't want anything to do with her. They don't want her to speak about her experiences with the conservatives. They don't want her speaking about, like, why she was attracted to the grift, right? I mean, she said she wants to be trans Candace Owens. She wants to be Trandis Owens, right? That's pretty much the grift. That's what's so lucrative about it, right? People see Candace Owens, they see Blair White, they see Buck Angel, they see all these grifter pieces of shit, and they're like, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. Oh, I could do that. And then you get people like, who was Baldy? The guy who, the trans man who went bald when he was still identifying as female. And then he tries to blame it on the testosterone, and he still says he's a trans man and doesn't regret it. It's like, what the fuck, dude? People like that, shitheads like that. And she was one of them, and she was going to continue to be one of them, but then she wasn't. And it's because of two things. One is she was able to look around her and see the damage that she was doing, and she didn't like that. And you can tell that she's sorry about it in these posts very clearly. She's very sorry about it. The other bigger one, and quite frankly, probably the more selfish one, if we're being real, but it's her own sense of self-respect. Kelly Cadigan has come to understand that the people, and she said it herself, but the conservatives just don't want her. They don't like her. They don't want her near them. They just want to have her on a leash, sitting outside the house, barking at anybody who tries to come in. She's a tool to them. She's a tool. And she realized that, and she had enough self-respect and wherewithal to recognize that and say, no, I'm not doing this. I can't. She said, I cannot sell myself out. So good on her. Good on Kelly Cadigan. Good on Kelly Cadigan. What a fucking, I don't want to say hero, but, she's definitely done a lot more self-searching, soul-searching than even many people on the left have done. And good on her for that. As somebody who is a former conservative, I can respect that a hell of a lot. It takes a lot to do that. So I recommend that you guys, everybody on YouTube watching as well, go follow her. Go show her some love. Be understanding. Be open. Let her ask questions. Let her ask the difficult questions. You know, if she's being difficult, if she's pushing back too much, let her know that. See how she reacts. Could she be faking it? I guess I can't get inside of her head and know for sure, but I'd be very surprised if she was. She very clearly to me wants to understand more and continue changing as a person and growing and getting better. And we should embrace that. It's very important that leftists embrace change and rehabilitation. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. You can join my channel membership at youtube.com/AlecGunther/TTV/join for only 99 cents a month. That's less than the price of a blowjob from your mom. You can be part of the channel membership program and you will get early access content as well as a sweet badge next to your name and exclusive emojis in the comments that nobody else gets. Thank you again, and I will see you all in the next video.